Yo, what's good? NBA YouTube. It's your man 100 Grand, Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today I want to talk with y'all about why I think the Chicago Bulls might be in real trouble. Like real trouble. If you like this video, smash that like button for me. Helps with the algorithms. And subscribe if you enjoy my content and hit the bell for notifications. Or you can also chop it up with me on the Twitterverse at Rock Never Stops too. I want to dive into this subject because I think as the Chicago Bulls sit on their third loss in a row, despite the return of Zach LaVine, the Bulls have not gotten better. The Bulls, to some extent, seem like they've plateaued, and I don't want to say that the NBA has figured them out in terms of how to beat them, because they've lost to some good teams. I believe the last team they lost to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. The Atlanta Hawks is a team that I retain is a really good team when Trae Young's teammates show up to help him out. And tonight they did. They weren't amazing, but they were good. They were solid. They gave him that B minus, B plus effort and performance that allows him to thrive. And this is the type of team that Trae Young, I feel like, can take it to anybody in the East when his team shows up. But it's to say that Chicago couldn't pull out the W. They couldn't pull out the win. And they had the lead in the fourth quarter. DeMar DeRozan was doing his thing, and it wasn't enough. Zach LaVine, I don't really recall seeing him too much in that fourth quarter. But it's to say that despite being there, he didn't necessarily move the needle. The second game that they lost in a row was against the Miami Heat, a team that has been an elite performer all season long. Didn't matter how many injuries they've had to whatever all-star or anyone else. They just keep winning. Culture, identity, depth, quality of drafting, and guys who buy into their roles and are great in their roles. Then the game before that, that kicked it all off, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, there's no shame in a team that has 42 wins already at this point in the year and is led by an MVP candidate. I mean, you can see that, right? But then I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. Guess who they have on Friday? Tomorrow, on a back-to-back. The Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo. The game after that, they get a couple days off, and then they have the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid and James Harden. After that, they got the Detroit Pistons, who are putting it together with Cade Cunningham leading the way. Cleveland Cavaliers, who may have Darius Garland back for that game and look to right their own ship of a short losing streak that they've been on. Sacramento Kings, who now have Domantas Sabonis and veterans who know how to win and buying into Alvin Gentry's system will be that much more aware of what their roles are and how they want to win after picking up a win tonight against the Spurs. Then they got the Utah Jazz, Phoenix Suns, Toronto Raptors, Milwaukee Bucks, New Orleans Pelicans, who are playing some great ball now that they got CJ McCollum. Can you see what I'm saying? Cleveland, New York, Washington, Clippers, Heat, Bucks, Boston Celtics, Hornets, Timberwolves. This is not an easy schedule to end this season, in the least bit. And the return of Zach LaVine hasn't seemed to have made the difference in terms of allowing them to sustain winning at the top of the East. Now, I'm not necessarily here to forecast how far they might fall, but I'll say this much. I would be concerned. I would be highly concerned. The Chicago Bulls team is almost at full strength outside of Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, who hopefully make their return back sooner than later. But when you look at the standings within the Eastern Conference, you're looking at teams here who are itching to supplant the Bulls. You got the Milwaukee Bucks, who are only a game behind. Boston Celtics, 2 games behind. Cleveland is creeping up. So is Toronto. So is Brooklyn. So are the Hawks. These are teams all within Chicago's schedule. Now, for me, something that I've been looking at is, what do I think about Zach LaVine and him wanting to re-sign and potentially get a max deal? And I asked myself, I said, does Zach LaVine move the needle for this team? And of course, it'll be played out in the playoffs. But the reality is, you kind of already have somebody who does what you would want from Zach LaVine. And the replication of their skill set between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, but DeRozan's more experienced and actually playing better than him, I'm not quite so sure he's a max salary player for the Bulls. Now you got to look at Patrick Williams, looks to return actually before the playoffs begin. You still got Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball. Throw in Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu and Javonte Green. You have a crowded backcourt and wings. And with Patrick Williams coming back, he's going to be in that forward position as well. Now, I'm not saying how the Bulls are going to move forward for sure in the future. I think they have to pay him and maybe try to trade him if they don't think that he is what they're needing to take the next step forward. But you know what? If the Chicago Bulls team slips and they end up in a number 6 seed, it's going to be telling. It's not going to bode well for Zach LaVine. It's not really even going to bode well for them progressing into the playoffs. This is a team that needed that home court advantage in that seeding. And they're beginning to let it slip away. I think this is a team that's desperate for Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso to come back, which is weird to say that because they have 3 all-star level players on this team who are playing and still losing. And so I'm wondering what Billy Donovan is going to do in terms of adjustments. Tristan Thompson's addition has been welcomed and everything they've needed to beef up their front court, but it hasn't made a difference. So I want to know what you guys think the Chicago Bulls need to do in order to right this ship as they try to close out the season and down this home stretch. Do you think Zach LaVine is the max salary contract player for the future? I want to know what you think. Holla at me on Twitter at RockNeverStops2, or throw some comments in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you. This is Ross with The Rock Never Stops, and I'm out. I'll see you next time. Peace.